Do you have like headphones or anything to hear it, or you just,
No.
or because you're tested, we're good?
Yeah, we're tested. We're good. Yeah. Cool, man.
Sweet.
All right. Yeah, dude. Honestly, so well, first of all, thank you for being on the show, and that's actually cool that you set this all up. This is a
Yeah.
really cool setup.
No, it's
Honestly, it's a nice little change from the usual.
mm,
Um, but no, usually let's just just get the formalities out of the way. Usually, I have people introduce themselves.
yeah. So my name is Jacob Flowers. Go by Jake Flowers, I guess is my artist name.
Yeah.
But
Your
yeah,
but your real name, last name is Flowers.
real
Oh,
last name is Flowers.
okay, just so that people know. No, it's not an
Yeah.
alias or anything.
Yeah, non-alias. It's
Yeah.
real for sure.
Okay. And then where you from? Because you're not from Cali. I know that.
Not from California. I grew up in Wisconsin,
Okay.
but I was born in Illinois, and then when I was 4, my mom moved us to Wisconsin
And how long did you live in Wisconsin for?
for about, I guess, from 4 to 19, so about 15 years. Yeah.
Oh, so a good chunk of majority of your life you've been in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious to know what like living is like out there. Is it a very slow and like how to spend like small town type of
It is small
uh,
town for sure.
yeah.
It's a small town called Plymouth, and there are about, at least last I checked, about 10,000 people there.
Oh, it's tiny down here.
I think my graduating class was about 150, something like that. But yeah, kind of like suburbia.
Okay.
Yeah, not too. There are rural areas in Wisconsin, of course, but nothing like, not too big city.
Yeah, because I would love to know like what life is like that eventually led you here. But like, okay, living in a small town,
Mm.
I feel like it was not really much happens there.
Hmm.
So was like was music a big thing back then for you, or were you doing something else before even that came in the picture?
I think that it was subconsciously for me. I
Okay.
didn't really realize how much I enjoyed music until I got a little bit older to give it
Okay.
more of like an appreciation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just grew up skateboarding
Hmm.
and just messing around doing dumb shit that kids do. Not a whole lot. It's super cold, so in the winter, you're just always pretty much indoors unless you're going out and playing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Sledding,
yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, music like was a lot bigger than I thought it was to me once I got older,
Yeah.
because I grew up with like, I had like the Demon Days like CD
Hmm.
from Gorillaz, and I would just listen to that whole album like nonstop
Yeah.
without even really thinking about it. And I'm like, yeah, this is normal behavior, which in turn, yeah, it is, I guess. But I guess not many people were like doing
Really
that.
into it. Yeah.
So yeah, I was just like obsessed with it at that, and I didn't really realize it until I reflected, as an
Looking
adult
back
on
at
it.
it, you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I was actually really into it back then.
Yeah.
Like, so was Gorillaz the type of genre you kind of gravitate towards, or did you have a more wide palette?
Yeah, I liked everything. Of course, a lot of rap, but when I would listen on my own, it would be like the Gorillaz, or like, of course, electronic music like Black Mill,
Okay.
um, and of course like Alice DJ, Better Off Alone type
Mm-hmm.
music. Sandstorm by Darude is
Oh yeah.
always a banger,
Yeah.
and yeah, like Bloodhound Gang as well, actually, because they're a form of house I would consider.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so like by that time you were kind of familiar with what electronic music was.
Hmm.
You weren't like completely out of the know in terms
Hmm.
of it. Um, but was electronic music kind of just kind of like, oh, it's something I listen to, or was it to a point where like, oh, I want to go to a rave, I want to go see them live, XYZ?
No, growing like as a kid, I wasn't thinking about stuff like that at
Yeah,
all.
like
I had no idea how big of a world it really was.
yeah.
So it was just kind of like, I think my first concert. Oh yeah, I think the first concert I ever saw was Pretty Lights
No
at
way.
yeah, yeah,
You saw Pretty Lights for your first time?
yeah.
I remember.
So
Yeah.
yeah, in Milwaukee. How wow, I did not even, dude. I did that. We just pulled that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pretty Lights, like, and I remember loving that for sure. Like,
Pretty Lights is very fun. I remember when I discovered him like maybe 5 years ago only,
mhm,
and then just going through his discography and just seeing how fun and experimental and the
yeah,
remixes he made. That's crazy you got to see him. That was your
yeah,
first
that was my
one.
first. Now that I think about it, that's so insane.
Was it kind of like something out of a whim, like, hey guys, let's just go see this random person that you looked up, or did you know Pretty Lights? Like, oh,
No, there was this girl that I was talking to, and she lived closer to Milwaukee because I grew up like Plymouth is about 45 minutes north of Milwaukee,
yeah,
and that's where they have I think it's called the Eagles Ballroom, called the Rave there, and that's where he was playing, and she hit me up about it, and yeah, I agreed, and because she lived kind of in between that,
yeah, yeah.
and she was super cool. She
Okay.
like picked me up and everything. Like we went and had a good time.
So but at that time you weren't familiar with him. You didn't know much of his music.
Just like I think it's I Know the Truth,
Okay.
that track,
Yeah.
that's one he's super famous for. I think that one is like the only song that I knew
Yeah.
by him. And I think it's Hot Like Sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hot Like Sauce. That one was also my favorite. Yeah.
So I'm just imagining you come to the stadium and then he just gets on and then goes
Yeah.
down and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think I was like 15 or 16 when I went. So like,
Okay.
you know, it's what kids do is just like move. I don't know if I was actually I think it was more recreational than anything,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like just what teenagers do, but
So I would
really
just
sick.
I would assume that definitely sparked an interest, like even more. Yeah.
Probably subconsciously on a
Yeah.
subconscious level. I didn't really have a big appreciation
Yeah,
for it
yeah.
back then. Because I didn't really understand what exactly
It was, yeah.
what that took to actually make that happen.
Mm.
So
That's okay, that's fair. That's fair.
yeah.
Okay. So you're kind of like already growing your palate by like 16, 17, and then you said you stayed in Plymouth until you were 19,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, 19, yeah, because I was like older in my class, and then I moved to this tiny little like nowhere town with my uncle for a year
Okay.
before I joined the military.
So you joined the military shortly after, like you were like what, 20, 21?
So I graduated, I worked for a year
Okay.
at like this hotel at like front desk in Madison, Wisconsin. Realized that I hated that and that was super boring. And my uncle was in the Marines, and I was like just looking into the military because I just didn't want to be working at a hotel,
Yeah.
you know, for the
Yeah.
rest of however long. And I was like, this could be a really good opportunity. So I feel like I got pretty lucky with all the things and how it turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you joined the Marines and then
Navy.
Navy, sorry.
Yeah. My uncle was in the Marines.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you joined the Navy and then that's when you got put here in San Diego?
No, so I went to boot camp, and I guess before that little backstory, I was just gonna join no matter what.
Yeah.
And my recruiter was actually the one who told me about the diver program, and he put me on it, and I just applied and trained and like basically like gave it everything I had, and just got lucky enough to like get a contract with it. So that all worked out. Went to boot camp, went to dive school.
So how does that work exactly? Because you said you're not technically in the Navy until you get a contract?
No, so at least back when I was getting in, back in 2016. So before, yeah, I'm not really sure and too familiar because much has changed
Yeah.
in the past
Yeah.
decade. But how it was is that you apply and you get like a standard contract for an alternate job because Navy diver is like a specialized
Mm.
career path.
Okay.
Then you have to physically qualify for it. So they have you do a physical screening test,
Uh-huh.
which is like it's a 500-yard swim or 500-meter swim, as many push-ups, as many sit-ups, and as many pull-ups in 2 minutes, and then a mile and a half run. So if you qualify good enough for the Navy standards, then you can gain a contract. And
Okay.
then basically it replaces your old contract, and then you follow through with that pipeline.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it sounds like a very intense
Yeah, it is.
process, honestly.
It is. There's a high attrition rate for it for sure.
Okay. Okay. And you've been a diver for how long now?
I just hit 9 years in September.
Oh wow.
So last month.
You've been a diver for 9 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so basically by that time so you said you weren't first brought here. You were like probably in another base?
No, so yeah, after dive school, which is in Panama City, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
which is approximately 5 to 6 months of training,
Yeah.
depending on where you fall in the year. We basically wait to get orders, and for our class, our orders were chosen for us. Sometimes if you score a high GPA, they'll go by GPA. So if you get like a higher GPA in your school, they'll give you like first dibs on the
Mm.
orders that are available.
Mhm.
But for our instructors, they kind of screwed us over, and they just like one day they just read out our orders. But I was super thankful because mine read Pearl Harbor. There's a shipyard there.
Oh, wow.
That was my first command. So after dive school, I moved to Hawaii on Oahu and worked in Pearl Harbor,
Oh, wow.
working on the submarines and surface ships there.
Yeah. So in this time, by the time you got your first orders, were you just like solely dedicated to what you were doing, or was music even on the forefront of your mind?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. It was just you're given a fire hose of information in dive school.
Uh-huh.
And even then, you're not even touching what you're going to learn in the actual fleet of the diving navy. So that was the main focus, was just to learn as much as possible, which is
Yeah.
knowing all the systems and all of the mechanics of the submarines and the surface ships,
Yeah.
just to be able to like do your job well. And even then, you're still mentored by the civilians that are at the shipyard.
Oh, because civilians help work and
Mhm.
maintain the.
Yeah, they're the subject matter experts for sure.
Oh,
At
I
least in
see.
Pearl, like not all shipyards have civilians.
Okay.
Um, but we had civilians, thankfully, and they basically guided us through working
Yeah.
on the
So a lot of
ships.
engineers and stuff like that, or
Engineers,
mechanics,
yeah,
maintenance guys. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Okay. But the whole goal was for you to be able to do what
Yeah,
they're knowledgeable in.
yeah. If you become savvy enough, then eventually you can do the jobs on your own.
Yeah.
But you'll also always have for like oversight by your supervisor and or a civilian,
Yeah, yeah.
something like that.
Did you ever actually go out into the water in the submarines? I was curious, like,
Underway,
yeah.
no. So we
Mhm.
spend most of our time inside the ballast tanks, which
Mm.
is a tank in between the outer shell of the submarine and where the people are,
Oh,
basically. So
okay.
that's where they have all of the systems and subsystems that allow the submarine to
To
operate.
operate.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, you said you were pretty thankful though that your orders were pretty much in Pearl Harbor, and so you spent 4 years in.
I lived there for almost 6 years because I transferred to a salvage command.
Mm-hmm.
And was able to go all around the world for that to do a bunch of like different missions. But
Salvage command, like you're pulling shit out of the water.
that's what we train for.
Yeah.
So, and it like ties into what I do now because I'm an instructor now.
Okay.
But yeah, we train basically like where we go out
Mm-hmm.
and train on the Hickam base. We train to like recover a helicopter. We do underwater cutting, welding, do demo operations, underwater demo operations.
Shit. Okay.
Um, and yeah, just basic battle damage assessment, battle damage repair operations
Mm-hmm.
out there.
Damn. Damn. What an eventful life you've had,
So
honestly.
so far so good.
Yeah.
Pretty fortunate. Learned a
Yeah.
lot.
But okay, so but now in San Diego, you said you're an instructor,
Yep.
a little bit more tamed in terms of like,
Work life for sure.
yeah,
It's a different ball game because you're working with different personalities. You're
yeah,
expected to be the subject matter expert on everything because you're the instructor.
mm-hmm,
And now we teach basically my last command, we instruct the courses and their training for them to be able to deploy.
yeah,
So it's definitely different. It's it's fun for sure.
mm-hmm,
Teaching, doing the work is always going to be more satisfying,
yeah,
but teaching is also good because it gives you a level of patience that I think it's hard to come by for sure.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, we basically, the work-life balance got a little bit better for you. You moved out here to San Diego.
Mhm.
Um, so then when did the music come into play?
So when I came out here, basically my first year out here, I think it was on New Year's, I went to go see Dead Mouse.
Okay.
Um, that was, oh yeah, before that, I think the day before New Year's, me and my buddies, we went to Countdown NYE.
So this is 2020.
2023.
Oh, okay, like less
Yeah,
than 2 years ago. Yeah, yeah.
2023. And yeah, I love that.
First rave?
That was my first festival.
Oh, okay.
That was my first ever festival. And that was sick. Like, it was cool. And then I went to see Deadmau5 in Costa Mesa at a nightclub out there. I think it's like Time nightclub
Yeah.
or something like
You know, right when you said Costa Mesa nightclub, my
Yeah,
first thought was Time.
Time. Yeah. And that was insane. Like, I definitely enjoyed that club sound way
Mhm.
more than the festival sound,
Yeah, yeah.
just because, there are less people.
It's more
There's a little
intimate.
bit, yeah, it's more intimate. It's a little bit classier, I would have to
Yeah.
say. And it just sounds better overall, I
Yeah.
think, just as a whole, because you're encapsulated
Yeah.
and you're fully
The
immersed.
acoustics are really dialed in instead of like
Yeah.
an open space. Yeah.
So that triggered me. Also going to LA Exchange, seeing one of my favorite artists, Victor Liu,
Yeah.
seeing him there. He actually was opening for Acraze, and I think Acraze is obviously doing amazing, but I really enjoyed Victor Liu a little bit more. I don't know what it was, and then I started looking into him, and just yeah, listen to like all his stuff on Spotify, and just became kind of obsessed at that point. And I was like, dude, I want to do this. Basically,
Mhm.
I want to, because it's like feeling exchange. It's crazy, 'cause
Yeah.
it's like,
That would you say that was like the spark that kind of like
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah, a culmination of all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then okay, you decided it's like, all right, I want to start. Did you say I want to start producing first or I want to start DJing first?
Well, I had no idea what that actually took.
Hmm.
So just looking into it, I think I started on like Fruity Loops, because I would just Google it and I would be like, how do you make music?
Yeah.
How's any of this done?
Yeah.
And then I heard about Fruity Loops, heard about Ableton. Ableton seemed scary, super scary at first. So I started Fruity Loops because they had a free version.
Yeah.
I didn't want to sign up for the 30-day trial for Ableton because I guess I didn't want to commit to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Open Fruity Loops, had the hardest time with Fruity Loops. Yeah, just FL Studio, and I was like, why is this so difficult? Like, I don't understand. And I really wanted to actually just give up, because I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is the reason why these guys are like sought after, because this shit is really hard,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But then I think eventually I switched to Ableton. I'm like, okay, like, you're seeing all these big names say it doesn't matter what DAW you use, which I firmly believe in. Like, I think
Mhm.
you can make things like, Logic, Pro Tools, any DAW you use. So I tried Ableton, the 30-day
Yeah.
free trial, and everything seemed seamless. And I'm not sure if it was because I was more determined,
Yeah.
or if just the interface in general was just easier for me to understand. So yeah, just YouTube rabbit holes, became a little bit better at it. And yeah, still learning the ins and outs, because it's Ableton. You're able to do a ton
Yeah.
with it,
It's like a madman's playhouse kind of thing. You can
Yeah.
do whatever you want.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And I found that time would just completely go away. Didn't care about food, holding my piss for
Yeah.
however long, because I was just like
You're
obsessed with
so
it. And I
into
was
it.
like,
Yeah.
is this what it's like to like love something? I don't
Yeah.
know. It just like time goes away. Um, and I'm like, dude, I need to figure out how I can like do this forever,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because every time you open it, it's like you don't know what you're gonna end up with. You
No,
don't know where you're gonna go.
absolutely not.
Yeah, and I think that's the fun thing about it is like it's not monotonous.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not. So I mean, you've been only producing then for
About 2 years
about
now.
2 years now.
Yeah.
Um, how was it like in terms of like? It sounds like at least I've listened to your music. I mean, people once they listen and follow you, they can. You definitely are starting to have like a distinct sound to you. Like every time you put out a track, it's like, oh, okay, this is something Jake likes to produce.
Mm.
Would you say it's heavily inspired by like Victor Liu, like in him?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a culmination of that. For sure, there are influences,
Yeah.
100%. consciously and subconsciously,
Yeah.
you know? So I would say most definitely influences are a huge factor
Mm-hmm.
in that for sure, because it's like he's like got the funkiest vibe I think I've ever heard, and it's
Yeah.
just like insane. And then because not all bass lines and not all sounds go well together,
Yeah.
so it's kind of frustrating at times trying to put them together, but
Yeah.
I would think so. I would think
I
so.
mean, yeah, I mean, you're pretty good about like putting out tracks pretty consistently. Do you kind of have like a process, or do you kind of leave it open ended when you go into it? Like, I'm just gonna,
Mhm.
because what I'm trying to get at is that I'm very curious to know if like the structure and like the mindset of being in, in the military kind of translates to how you handle producing a track. Do you
Yeah.
go into it strategically, or do you go into it as like, I'm just gonna fuck around and find out?
A lot of fucking around and finding out for sure. Also at the same time, I won't let myself um get lost in finding the perfect
Yeah.
fit for
Yeah.
some 8-bar loop, because that to me is just a huge waste of
Yeah.
time, and I don't want to be frustrated. I'm supposed to be having fun, right? Also at the same time, there's no such thing as perfection,
Yeah.
so I don't try to strive for that. I just try to strive for something that sounds good.
Mhm.
But I think that I think that there definitely is a system, and all producers definitely everyone's got their own way.
Yeah.
Like for instance, some people start with the drums first, some people start with the bass line first, some people are inspired by a vocal. I don't think there's any right or wrong way to do it,
Mhm.
as long as you can if you as long as you're able to put something together,
Yeah.
you know? But I think there is a systematic approach to it. So that's why I think I'll start with drums and bass line.
Okay.
Depending on what's more inspirational, then I'll throw like a vocal on
Mhm.
it. Um, because drum and bass, that's, 60-70% of your track. That's what the people I think are going to be feeling.
Yeah, that's
And if,
exactly what they
if you
dance
don't
to.
have that down pat, then the rest is not going to sound good, I think.
That's fair.
And I'm still working on that too,
Mhm.
sidechain, everything. Um, because a lot of it is subjective, I guess, in a
Mhm.
way, you know? And if you make something, you want it to sound good to you. And if you truly believe in that, and it's not going to matter whether or not it sounds good to someone else. But I think there is, if you hit all the right levels, if you hit all the right levels
Yeah.
in your parameters, in your mix, then it should still sound good to someone else.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't even like that type of music.
Yeah,
So,
like you said, it's very subjective. It is
mhm.
very subjective, but what would you say is like the biggest struggle you're dealing with now when it comes to your productions?
I think just arrangement.
Okay.
Arrangement in general, because there is like your typical every pop song you hear has a specific arrangement.
Mhm.
They're approximately 2 minutes and 30 seconds long, and they
Mhm.
make them that way because they cater to the attention spans of the
Yeah.
population, But n- I don't want it to necessarily cater to those, I want it to be like my own,
Yeah.
what I want it to be, but there has to be some sort of arrangement to it. And yeah, I think just also hitting my levels right, because I'm still learning a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, how loud should this be?
Mhm.
Referencing is also a huge thing that, I think like I struggle with. But we're working on it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, earlier we talked about how you're starting to get mentors,
Hmm.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to a few producers, and you know, one guy puts their kicks in their drum loop in their drum bus. And then the other guy doesn't put their kick in their drum bus at all, just so they can hear them separately. Um, and so that kick is not altered by that. And six in one hand, half dozen in the other. I guess it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
It comes down to like what you want, but like both of those producers, I feel like they are successful in their
Mhm.
ways, for sure. And it's hard because a lot of times some people say like the people who are teaching, they're not like the best at what they're doing, because if they were, they'd be doing that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
um I'm not sure how true that is really. So, and you know, you have to use your own good judgment on that
Yeah.
part. But I think they're the basics. If you don't know the basics, then you're gonna be lost, you know. So they're definitely like footstones or cornerstones.
Yeah. But I'm assuming you would feel like you've accelerated more in your production skills having a mentor versus if you didn't do it on your own.
Absolutely, because
Yeah.
there are just things that you just don't know what you're doing wrong. You don't know what you don't
Mm-hmm.
know, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So
Yeah.
like I talked to, like, for instance, my first like ever mentor thing was with this artist named Chance King. He's based out of Wahoo. Um, Makes super good melodic techno, melodic house. And he showed me this sidechain method and just completely blew my mind. I was like, yeah, I never would have known that. That's like not on YouTube or anything like that. Leveling my channels, like I was automating volume, and that's a no-no, I guess. So I stopped doing that too, and that just, yeah, 100% made me better overall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good. So yeah, talking, it all helps.
Yeah, one thing that also caught me by surprise, like you know how to play instruments.
Yeah, the piano a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little
Self-taught?
bit. Self-taught. Yeah, self-taught, YouTube University. I can't read music.
Yeah.
I can't read music, but I've just learned to play songs and sing along with them.
Okay.
I do feel like that's super beneficial rhythmically, um, just to understand music a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
and what that actually takes, because that's like some people can just do that on a whim, like they don't even have to try. And maybe it's because they're not trying, that's why it's easy for them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like that helps a lot for
Yeah.
sure.
Versus just kind of putting midis on a screen with a keyboard.
Yeah, you need to know, yeah, what is it? The what is that circle called?
I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's
the
like a
wheel
color
or some.
palette, but for
Yeah, yeah.
keys, you know?
Fuck, what is it called? I know what you call it. Like it has the letters and you can see what keys you can go in between. I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so understanding that, which still is like kind of on, no, like my music theory is not like on top, you know? Like,
Yeah.
because it's very complex, you know, back in the day when they were creating orchestras, it was very complex.
Yeah.
Like that was their world. That's all they were absorbed in.
Yeah.
And they were able to make something amazing sounding with
Mhm.
that.
And you're trying to learn it all by yourself. So
Yeah,
it's hard. Yeah. It
yeah,
takes time too. I
yeah,
think that's the biggest thing too. I feel like people coming into this, once you kind of open that can of worms, you start to realize like this is gonna take time.
100% time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because not only is learning the technical stuff, but also trying to like what people say, finding your sound. You know, I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
you've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it takes time to figure out like I like this, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I want these more in my productions. I don't want this in my production.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, I mean, I've had friends who started off when they first started producing sounding one way, and now like 4 or 5 years later, they have a completely different like sound palette.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is exciting because in my opinion, is like that just tells me it never gets bored. It never gets boring.
No, not boring, and that comes from trial and error. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna find that if you don't, you know, like say, fuck around, find out.
Yeah,
If you don't
exactly.
create trash music,
Yeah.
if you don't do that, you're not gonna know what you like if
Yeah.
you don't just take the time to put something together. You know,
Yeah.
hundreds, thousands of times.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's what people need to realize is that, like, yes, when you see your artist, you're hearing the best music being put out, you're hearing the best tracks, but you don't know how many tens of thousands of shitty tracks they had to make that are in their hard drives just sitting there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, God knows I have a shit ton just sitting in my hard drive.
Straight ass I've got, dude. Like, I need to actually delete a bunch of shit from my SoundCloud because I'll go back and I was like, I still feel it, you know, because
Yeah.
it brings me back
Yeah.
to what I was feeling when I was making it. But I'm like, damn, this is trash.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it. Like, it's
Weird. It's like, in my opinion, I always tell people I keep my first track I ever made
okay.
because I like to go back and be like, damn, that's where I started.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's good, and especially because you're putting in, like you're at 2 years. From what I've like in my experience, because I've been doing it for around like 6 or 7. Um, the first 3 years are the funnest because everything is new to you.
Mhm.
When you get to around 4 or 5, you will start to maybe feel a little bit like you're plateauing. But I think what you did that I should have done is grab a mentor. You
Mhm.
started very early, honestly. A lot of people don't grab mentors until they had maybe their fourth or fifth year
Mhm.
because they start to feel that plateau in their production and they
Yeah.
need something new and refreshing.
Mhm.
So I think it was a very good thing that you did because that's going to help you a lot. Um,
Yeah, and nothing is free, like, you have to pay. If you care about something, I think it's well
oh
worth
yeah,
the investment, you know?
yeah, yeah,
And, like, it's just, like, to me, feel like I'm paying for school,
yeah.
that's the way I look at it.
And it's not just that. It's like in my opinion it's an investment because I did pay for my mentorships. I got mentored by Victor Ruiz and Umek. But honestly, not only did that kind of, accelerate my production so far in my opinion, it helped open a relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now I'm actually friends with, my mentors. I'm friends with Victor. I went to his wedding.
Mhm.
I've met his friends who are other DJs and producers. Who's to say that like, your mentors come play here and you're like, hey dude, I'm in the area. Let me come support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Relationships are huge
Yes.
in it all,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's kinda there's no point without that, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to me, it comes down to, like, the connection you're able to have,
Yeah. And
but,
I
yeah,
think
that's sweet.
I think what we talked about off camera was about how like, yes, we want to get to a point where this can be like a full-time thing when we can support ourselves financially with it. But I think what's essential when you're starting off is being able to support other people in different ways than just money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you have, say, a CDJs and I have speakers and we want to like throw an event, then yes, let's get together and support each other.
100%,
I think that's
100%.
huge that people need to like have that in their mindset. It's like, hey, we're all trying to get to the same place,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, no, you have to have a bit of, like, selflessness,
Mhm.
no one's gonna wanna work with you if you don't have anything to offer.
Yeah.
Should be kind of like a mutual
Yeah.
exchange.
Like a very
So
collaborative environment. I feel like the music industry is or at least the EDM industry. I don't know how other genres are, but it's definitely from what I've seen, it's a very collaborative environment.
mhm,
A lot of the big shows like in LA, the underground shows, it's not usually just like one collective, two collectives. It's usually like three or four
mhm,
supporting, one brings the venue, one brings the artist, one brings this.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's what it's turning out to, and then that opened my eyes a lot too, and just, getting to know you guys, because you and CK, reached out to me, which, yeah, 100% great opportunity,
Yeah.
able to throw you 2 together,
Yeah. Yeah.
mix on there, with, professionals, like, people who actually care about what they're doing,
Yeah.
take it seriously, are disciplined, right? It's, huge, those relationships, I think.
Yeah. So how is it? I'm very curious to know how the scene is here in San Diego. Um, would you say it's like as big as LA or is it a little bit more smaller of a community here?
Absolutely smaller.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the demographics statistically, I've not really looked into it too hard,
Yeah. Yeah.
but, LA is bigger.
Yeah.
LA is bigger. They're more famous in LA.
Yeah.
Um, that's where you've got all the film work.
Yeah.
You've got all the music companies,
Mm-hmm.
big labels just in general. And I feel like there is a good music environment here.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got, PB Shore Club and Firehouse. They play. I've been to Firehouse and I've heard them play some good music. The DJs there. Um, and I don't know if that was like just that one night. Because honestly, I don't really go out that much anymore. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy just staying in and
Producing.
working on something
Yeah.
because I know I need to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the few times that I have gone out, it's been good experiences and it's been fun music. But, I think I went to one that heard like Gorillaz Dare Subshift remix in the club. And this was actually very um retrospective, introspective, but I heard that remix there and I looked it up and I was like, okay, this is on YouTube. Where else is it? I'm like, these guys just rip MP3 off YouTube and just threw in this club? And I'm like, dude, what the heck? Like, I can do that. And I'm
Yeah.
not like hating on MP3, right? Um, which by the way, I now am trying to stick to only waves. I'm
Yeah.
finding music on Beatport, stuff like that, because these guys do work hard for the tracks.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say. So it's good to just be able to support them too.
Mhm.
But that's totally doable too for any kid who wants to like try and get in. Of course, you need to be in that environment, be surrounding yourself in that social environment to be able to get to know the people for them to allow you to
Yeah.
play.
Mhm.
Because no one's gonna if they don't know you, they're not gonna want you to play.
Yeah.
If you don't have some sort of repertoire, or like anything like that. Um, did I even use that correctly? That word?
Repertoire. Yeah, I think you're yeah, I think you're good.
But yeah, like if you don't, you have to build rapport with
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
so because you see like kids downtown, they're playing, they're grinding and stuff out there. Some good, some bad. Everyone makes mistakes too, but
Yeah.
for the most part, I think those guys, do have a passion.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not like full committed to it,
Mhm.
but like I think that it's a big music scene. I'm trying not to stray from the question, the
Yeah,
initial
no, no, no.
question,
No worries. But I
but
mean, is that something you recently just found out, or is that kind of like you already knew like this is a part of it? Because I feel like that's something that people tend to kind of, especially producers, because we love being in our little cave and just
Mhm.
producing.
Yeah, which is the opposite of being out there and being
Yeah.
social,
Yeah.
and I think that I always knew like you need some sort of balance.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but some things just like happen magically sometimes where you
Mhm.
just meet someone you weren't even planning on going out, but you did, and then you met this person, and then that created another opportunity for you.
Yeah.
So the chances of you creating the opportunity are zero when you stay home.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like humans are supposed to be like social. We're supposed to
Yeah.
build connection with each other. So, and it can be draining at times,
Mhm.
but I don't think I always knew that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm moderately social, pretty much a normal dude. To, I think I get a little weird, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't think I always knew that. No,
That's
for
fair.
sure not. But I definitely just going out and reflecting on those experiences that I've had. I definitely think that that's super valuable, and it
Mhm.
makes me just want to go out more and just meet more people.
Yeah, because part of your vision is yes the producer side, but it's also being able to DJ as well.
Mhm.
And then when did you start DJing?
DJing, so they kind of happened simultaneously.
Yeah.
Um, Downloaded the Ableton, started making a bunch of remixes. I bought my first um like little mixer, was like a DDJ Rev 1 or something like that.
Mm.
Just a little box. It was like $300. I think I just ordered that online,
Yeah.
and I would just stay up like all night mixing with my headphones, trying not to make too much noise. Because there is an art form to that, it's that I do feel like it's easier to get down pat than, of course, the producing side, because it's just like that's the showmanship, I think,
Mm.
in the industry. And like that's just like because people, how do I want to say this? Because it's going to be way up for interpretation, but people, that's what people experience, is you presenting your idea.
Yeah.
That is the overall goal,
Mhm.
and that is the highlighted, I think, portion of the music. They don't see like you in the cave,
No.
you know.
No.
So I think they kind of just coincided. I think
Yeah.
they were at the same time. Um,
And you taught yourself, I'm assuming.
yeah, just all
Yeah.
through online.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
university is great, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it's all online for sure, for
Huh.
sure.
And then have you gotten to a point where you're playing gigs out here yet? No. You did actually a pretty cool one. The barber one was I
Yeah,
love that one.
yeah, that was so my barber at Straight Faded Barber, my buddy Mike, great haircuts. Uh yeah, just off 32nd Street. I saw this reel or something like that, and it was like this packed barber shop, and I knew it didn't want to be like he didn't want it to be like too lit, because number one, it's not even that big of a space. Like this barber shop I saw online was like a huge space.
Yeah.
But I was like, would you want to do something like this? And he was all about it. So I was like sick, and it kind of just like worked out like that. And then it tied into like that personal relationship I already
Yeah.
had with him,
Yeah.
like I follow him, he follows me, and we see like what each other are doing. Um,
Well, it's a
but
pretty cool event. You played for how long?
it was supposed to be longer, but like honestly, CK kind of rushed me, not gonna lie. He'll tell you about it,
Yeah.
but no, it was just like a 2-hour set, I think that was enough because like homies were feeling it, but like I number one, it was getting late. I think it was like 6 to 8.
Uh-huh.
So also it's, kind of a smaller space. So I was like, yeah, I'll do one more song and we'll just call it at that. And I think it was a appropriate amount of time,
Yeah,
too
yeah.
long,
Yeah.
not too long.
Well, it was a cool feeling to seeing people like vibing out to your music and
Yeah,
saying,
100%.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Is something you'd want to do again or
Yeah, for sure, for
yeah.
sure, for sure. I try to like take every opportunity as long as I don't think it'll like negatively
Yeah, yeah.
affect anyone.
I remember actually when we first met, you told us about how you did one in Venice.
That was just a pop-up. Yeah, I just brought
Like,
all my gear to
yeah,
Venice Beach Skate Park.
you drove all the way up from San Diego to Venice Beach,
Yeah,
set up a table and went for it.
set up a table and just like started vibing. And honestly, no negative reactions at all.
Yeah.
No negative reactions at all really on that. There was this one security guard who came up, 'cause
Yeah.
you've been there,
Yeah, yeah.
you've got all the buskers, like,
Yeah.
there's so much noise out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's almost, if anything, it didn't seem out of the blue that someone's just setting up speakers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so I was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try this and just see what happens."
Was it just like it just popped in your head? It's like, okay, let's see what yeah.
Yeah,
It's that
'cause I've
random.
done a pop-up I did a few pop-ups on the island on Oahu, and those were fun, super fun. When I was last there for work, I did a pop-up with another producer,
Not too
Buddy
long ago.
Door. Yeah,
Like 2-ish, 3
2
months.
months ago,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I saw he did a pop-up at this park. I won't name the park because some people didn't like that online,
Yeah, yeah,
only the haters online. There was no negative stuff, like, in person,
yeah, yeah.
but it's just online, like but I saw he did the same thing at the same spot, and I just messaged him, I was like, "Yo, wanna do another pop-up somewhere else or something like that?" And he was down for it, and it was cool because he knew, like, some of the same people that I knew on the island, um, yeah, and we just did a pop-up
That's
together.
cool.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, because you guys were on like a nice overlook. The city was behind you.
Yeah, it was very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super nice. It was really cool.
Hmm. Okay. So you said the goal is to honestly make this a full-time thing. I would feel like the next big step for you would be to release music. Like I mean,
Release
not release music. I mean, you're already kind of releasing music.
Mhm.
I'm saying releasing like start like labels and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm mixed about it because, like, I wanna do my own thing?
Mm.
Also, a label does open up a lot of doors, I think, for you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I need to be able to make something, acceptable to them.
Yeah, yeah.
So in a way, you kind of have to cater to them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would be great for sure. But yeah, now I just independently release.
So is the mixed feelings coming from a place of like you feel like the label will be restrictive, or do you feel like it's just not up to the standard you think they would expect?
I just don't wanna lose ownership of the stuff that I make.
Ah, okay, okay,
Um,
okay.
um,
Which is
and
fair.
you
Yeah,
can always make more. You can always,
yeah,
creativity,
yeah,
imagination,
yeah.
infinity, it's
Fair.
unlimited for sure.
Yeah,
But it would be nice to just maintain your rights to your
yeah.
own stuff. And
I
I'm
think
not
that's a fair. I think
depending
that's
on
fair. Yeah,
that all depends on the contract too,
yeah.
like what does it actually mean,
Hmm.
you know? But yeah, it's just I need to probably reach out more,
Yeah, yeah,
submit stuff to, more labels.
yeah.
Definitely need to do more homework for sure.
But I think one thing you've been doing lately that I think appreciate that not a lot of producers have, or some DJs as well have lacked is social media presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
I feel like there's just a certain way to do that. And Like if you just put out stuff, it doesn't have to be anything super special.
Yeah.
Just take the time to do it.
Yeah.
Like that's all I
Was
come to.
yeah. Because I think you've taken a bit more of the educational not educational, but like informative, where you kind of show your productions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um.
yeah. I try to make it like for anyone to understand.
Yeah.
In a way, also just audio, visuals, and my face. Because social media presence it does carry weight. In the industry. Because it allows someone who doesn't know you to get some sort of interpretation of you. You know.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Were you a bit hesitant when you first started putting yourself out there, like
Yeah, I
behind
felt
the
like an
camera?
idiot, dude. I felt
Okay, the feeling's mutual.
yeah,
Dude,
dude.
when I first
I
did, I was
felt
like, "Fuck me."
so dumb, dude.
I was like, hearing my voice was like a big thing.
I'm like, am I doing this? Like, I guess. No, for sure, dude. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I hate the way I sound. For sure.
I was
Which
the
I'm
same.
probably still gonna think it when I watch this video.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, God, I sound like so stupid. But, you know, that's what I sound like all the time. So it's like
Yeah.
nothing's changed.
I think that's once I got through I remember this too. It was when I first announced my podcast. I was like, I held off on doing that video to announce a podcast for almost a month because I was like,
Mhm.
dude, this is dumb. I
Yeah.
don't want to put my face on
No, not
there.
dumb.
I'm like I'm not a kind of guy to do that. One day, I don't know what came. I was like, fuck it. I just set up the camera and went and I posted it. And I didn't even look at it. I just
Mhm.
walked away and didn't even look.
Yeah.
But honestly, but then you kind of like, you know what? Nothing bad happened. If anything, people were happy that, and excited for it.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay. You kind of get more comfortable with yourself a little bit, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it gives you a perception of yourself that you'd never had
Exactly.
otherwise.
A very like third person point of view of how you are,
Mhm.
So
Which you grow from and you learn
yeah,
more about yourself in that way.
yeah, 100%.
I learned how many times I like breathed weird, said which I just
Dude,
clip
the
out.
ums and likes.
Ums, yeah. Yeah.
So many ums.
Because I talk like a bro most of the time. And I don't know, like, and I find myself just clipping this out, clip it out, clip it out. And then it just looks like everybody else's videos.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
not bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I was the same exact way when I first started. But then, like, yeah, and like you said, honestly, I feel more comfortable with myself now. And it was kind of like good thing I did push that boundary a little bit of comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I'll watch my videos. And CK brought up too. He's like, dude, like, you don't smile, bro. Like, I'm like, yeah, but I'm happy. Like, trust me, I am. He's like, yeah, dude, just like smile. You don't necessarily have to fake it, but like, you have to show emotion.
yeah,
th- People, if they get to know you, they want to see like a human, like be you, and comfortable.
yeah,
Because a lot of people are afraid of like looking dumb and stuff like that.
yeah.
But yeah, it's funny, dude.
Yeah, but honestly, like that's the thing about entering this world, and that's like one step we need to have in order to get to that point where we want to make this a full-time thing. It's like all these little things add up. Just
Absolutely.
smiling, being good in front of a camera,
Moving.
moving is a big one for me.
Yeah,
I get
body
very
language.
stiff when I teach.
Yeah. Yeah, body language. It's huge.
Yeah. It's just learning how to communicate, learning how to carry yourself, and what kind of we spoke on the phone once about like doing a gig that you weren't kind of sure about, and then we kind of talked about
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, just to kind of give people a context, like yeah, we spoke about like there's this gig, but you weren't really sure how
Yeah.
you felt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then one thing I told you, which I think is relevant to anyone, is that well, what kind of person are you? What are your values? What do you align with? Do you believe in the message that that people, organizers, promoters, other artists,
Yeah,
do?
because music doesn't discriminate. I would say majority. I'm sure there's discriminatory music out there.
Yeah,
But for the most part, it's supposed to be a positive
yeah,
experience.
yeah. Very accepting and
supposed to-
neutral. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's things that I feel like once you get past just the music part of it and you see it as a whole,
Mhm.
there's so many different layers to it that you have to kind of
Yeah.
encompass.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's trial and error, and you
Yeah.
just learn.
Yeah, but you also said one big thing too that I think that's been more significant to me is like the whole balance of things.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like majority of people out there right now who want to get to that point, yes, are working a full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
are trying to produce great music, trying to get mentored, trying to like go out and socialize, trying to, you know, how do you kind of balance it all?
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
think there's any algorithm behind it.
yeah.
Um, but you know what it feels like to work hard. You
Yeah.
know what it feels like to rest. If you can recognize those things
Hmm.
and come up with some sort of
Self-awareness kind of.
self-awareness,
Yeah.
algorithm, however you want to
Yeah.
say it, a method,
Yeah.
a system
Yeah.
that works best for you, then that should work. And maybe because some people are working super hard, but they're not being productive,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Some people are being super productive,
Yeah.
but they're not putting in enough time,
Yeah.
you know? Um, so I will look at it like any other professional career just from my own, and it takes so much time,
Yeah.
it takes time. You have to put in the time
Yeah.
for it.
Actually, I love that you said that because to kind of piggyback off what you said, there was a point where I was putting in a lot of time, but not outputting anything,
Hmm.
So like I had to get to a point where I like accept the fact is like, you know what? I'm just burnt out. I'm just burnt out from producing.
Hmm.
So I just stepped away for almost like 4 months from touching the DAW just to kind of like give myself a refresher,
Yeah,
So I think that's something people need to like understand too is like it's okay not to be doing something.
absolutely. You have to rest.
Yeah.
You have to rest.
Yeah.
You have to rest,
Yeah. And like I said earlier, like, yeah, I told you I got back onto Ableton and I created an 8-bar loop and it just came out so seamlessly, dude. I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
excited again. Here we
Yeah,
go.
there's a
Get this done.
spark,
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a big lesson that people have to take, especially from this discussion, is like we want to get there. We want it bad.
Mhm.
But a big part of that is also like learning to pump the brakes a little bit and be a human being.
Yeah.
Go hang out
Live
with
your
friends.
life.
Yeah, live
Live your
your
life.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've figured out, I would say more recent than not, is like, okay, if people ask you to come out, like, you should probably go out,
Yeah.
because they want you around,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just
People
take a
take care.
break from what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go get like fucked up and hurt yourself, but
Yeah.
you know, you gotta be social, and that allows you that rest from Ableton. That allows you that rest from worrying about
Yeah.
numbers or anything like that.
Yeah. And you, like you said, you mentioned this earlier. It's like you never know who you're going to meet when you go outside.
Exactly.
You can go out and step out and come back the same way you were. Or you can go out and who knows, maybe you meet another dope ass producer then, who shares the same energy as you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
it's cool.
Yeah, because like, who's to say like probably would have never met if you never replied back to that Instagram message.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly, dude.
Yeah,
For sure.
and now like I'm not saying that we had much influence, but because through association, now we're gonna be on a yacht now,
Dude, I
literally in a
never
couple
would
of
have
hours.
thought
Yeah,
this would have
yeah,
happened at all.
yeah, we're gonna be on a
Sitting
yacht in
here.
like 2 hours, and like enjoying a show.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
like
also producers,
friends,
organizers, friends.
Like
Yeah.
it's sick.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And me and Sika were talking about this on the drive earlier. Is like, don't forget how far you've come.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get caught up on where you want to go. But then look back, is like, you were just a kid in Plymouth.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously.
Now you're living in like sunshine San Diego,
Yeah.
getting to play gigs, getting to like hang out with friends and do all this. I would say all this fun stuff that I would not say the average person gets to experience.
No, very, very fortunate for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's
It
good.
feels good. It's a feeling you want to keep chasing and keep pushing towards for sure.
Yeah.
And I think what's cool about it is like it's one thing being in front of the decks and seeing the DJ. It's a whole other fun experience when you're getting to be behind the scenes.
Yeah,
seeing how it
100%.
operates. Yeah.
You appreciate it a lot more too.
Mm-hmm.
Just the work that people put in, the
Yeah.
coordination, and you just stand back and you look at it all and you're like,
And just seeing how
Just
like a lot of it is also just like powered through just passion of the genre.
Yeah, because people want to be there. That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
If you get a bunch of people like-minded who have some sort of discipline,
Yeah.
they're doing what they want to do. They
Mhm.
create something super special,
Yeah.
super valuable.
Yeah, and I think the next thing I'd be excited for you is like when your track gets played on a big sound system in front of people.
Yeah, it'd be nuts. To me, it seems like a fallacy right now, you know?
You never know. That's the thing. You never know.
You never know what you're gonna
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You never know when you're gonna be in behind those decks and having the opportunity to like, I have 600 people here waiting to hear what I have to play.
Yeah, that'd be crazy, bro. That'd be insane.
I remember my first big show that I did. It was at Circle OC in Huntington. I don't know if you've ever been to that one.
I don't think so.
It's a great venue. I loved it because like it's one of the very few hidden gems in OC that caters towards house music.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very popular spot for locals to go to see like very great acts out there. And then like 2 years later, I joined a collective, and next thing they did is that they let us use their venue. And like I was fortunate enough. The collective was Revolt. Big shout out to them. They allowed me to be the headliner,
Nice.
and then I remember getting on stage and I just saw the sea of people, and that's when I just like
A little nerve-wracking,
a
maybe?
little nerve wracking, but I would say the best set I've ever played.
Yeah.
Yeah, best set I've ever played, best music I've ever played, because like being on stage and you see these people, you're like, you just get that level of fucking motivation in you that you're like, I want to fucking do the best I can be.
Yeah, can I turn the table and just ask you a question?
Yeah.
Was it easy for you to create that comfortable bubble for yourself? Because you have to get in some sort of zone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To where it's like, sounds
S-
good to you. Yeah, hopefully they like it, but
So
you have to like also not care. if you
yeah,
don't.
yeah. So I think what helped me a lot was just doing a little bit of prep with the
Yep.
music. I practiced for sure. I
Mhm.
practiced. I made sure to practice because I did something a little bit unique. I didn't use two CDJs. And that night I used 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was mixing like
For the first
multiple
time?
for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did, funny story, I had my 2 CDJs and I asked my buddy to borrow his controller.
Mhm.
So I set up all 4. I called off work for 2 days and I started playing all the tracks I had in my crate, trying to mix this with this, seeing if this matched with this.
Mhm.
And then I generally started to build up a little bit of a catalog in the back of my mind. It's like, hey, if I play these 2 tracks, the harmonies or like the keys will match up and it'll actually sound good.
Yeah.
So I just practiced, I was in my room just practicing,
Yeah.
but I also left it kind of like fun. Like I can
Yeah.
experiment. So I did that. And then I think what was essential for me that night to kind of get me in that zone was just keeping that first track I played very simple. I didn't try to do anything crazy. I didn't try to do anything simple. I started myself off on a very solid foot.
Mhm.
Once I get that first track played and people start dancing and you see that environment,
Mhm.
all those nerves just kind of wash away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say in the beginning, don't showboat. Just start,
Right.
get the ball rolling, get the people moving.
Mhm.
And by all means, what I like to do, and this is just my opinion, I don't like when the next act stops the music and then plays.
Yeah.
Like whoever's playing before, I should be able to mix in and keep the music going.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my pet peeve. Is like I don't like the music stopping.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's my biggest thing. So I just kept the music going. That's why I kept it simple. And then once I got into a rhythm, once I was about like maybe 10, 15 minutes in, that's when I started getting like, oh, let's throw in a third track.
Yep.
Oh, let me get the drums from this 4th track and put it on top of this.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I do it. My method is always just kind of learn your music.
Yeah.
A lot of people who know me very well, who've known me the longest, would always say I play the same tracks over and over again.
Mhm.
But that's because like I'm playing those same tracks with different tracks to see if they work.
Mhm.
And a lot of people that I would go to different shows, they haven't heard me before. So it's
Yeah.
their first time hearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of times people will like tell you like, oh, that's a Waleed set right there.
Yeah.
That's Waleed set right then,
Yeah.
hands down. Just because I gravitate towards a very specific, not very specific, but I have a certain feeling I like to go towards.
Mhm.
Like if I give you my USB and you go through my music, it's like, yeah, these have very similar a feel to them. So if I played a whole set, like it feels like one long song.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's another thing is like really like start like really be intentional with what music you play.
Yeah, we like to say proper preparation prevents piss poor performance.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's what.
I'm not gonna attempt to say that because I'm gonna fuck it up, but that's actually that's true. And people who appreciate the music notice it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why, like, you know, you can go to certain acts and right away, without even like seeing the DJ, you know, like, oh,
What the vibe is.
what the vibe is and what kind of who the DJ is.
Mhm.
You know, there's some DJs out there I was like, yep, I know that artist
Yeah.
hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's how you kind of build a brand around it. It's not just who you are visually, but how you sound like on the
Yeah.
performance stage. So when you have your first big headlining show, you'll understand like that feeling.
Mhm.
But dude, I'm just saying this, once you have that feeling, if you think you're motivated now,
Oh, 100%.
oh, you're gonna be like 200%.
Yeah.
You're gonna want it even more, and it's
Mhm.
great. It's great because like then it just pushes you to really like take it even more seriously than you thought you were.
Yeah, it's like a re-up of energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's cool.
yeah. So that's pretty much like the gist of it. I mean, we're pretty much at our hour mark, but yeah, I'm excited for you, dude, because I feel like so far with just the 2 years you've done, you've really like excelled a lot further than most people have. You know, the next big step is obviously doing shows. So
Mhm.
do you have like certain, to kind of wrap things up, do you kind of have like goals you want in the next year that like I want to be able to do this within the next year?
Within the next year is have a consistent flow
Mhm.
of some sort of scheduled venue
Mhm.
for just DJing, putting out there.
Okay.
That is a big goal. And just have more connections in that realm,
Yeah.
you know, to be able to at least put my name out there a little,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know. But I feel like yeah, within the next year, I guess in the next year for sure that'd be great to just
Mhm.
kind of build the network more.
Yeah.
For sure, that's a goal. And
Yeah.
thank you, dude.
Yeah, no, this is
What
great.
you
That's a
deserve.
fun conversation.
Yeah.
I had a
No,
great time learning about it.
definitely nerding out a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's awesome. Like,
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I really want to be back here next year and just sitting down and hearing about like everything that you've gotten done. You
dude,
never know. Like I said, you
likewise.
never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, just I gotta stay disciplined and
Yeah, dude.
hope for it.
We'll keep
Hope
you
for
on
the
track.
best. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, yeah, dude, I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate you setting this all up too. This is a fun change of pace. But
Yeah, likewise,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Likewise, thank you.
Yeah, and then Jake Flowers, bunch of stuff on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, Spotify. I did actually put out a track.
Mhm.
I didn't even announce it or
Yeah.
anything. I just threw it out there. It's called Reputation.
Uh-huh.
It's a like kind of like a maybe a little bit darker, funkier, not too much of an arrangement, but I like that vibe.
Yeah.
But that's on Spotify. I think it's on Apple Music now
Yeah.
too. But I like the way it sounds.
Yeah. Congrats,
Maybe
dude.
you will too. I don't know.
Yeah, now follow Jake and show all the support, and hopefully you'll be playing shows soon for us
Dude,
to
thank
see you at.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Seriously.
Thank you, man. Of course.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.